Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Katie, and today I'll be sharing some boho inspired plant DIYs that I really think you're going to enjoy. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. For the first project, I'm using a few different colors of polymer clay, keeping with sort of a warm orange and pink theme. I'm also going to be using this test tube, which I purchased in a pack. I started by rolling each of my colors into a ball, and then rolling them out into a long tube shape. I'll eventually be forming each of these into a U shape, essentially to create an upside down rainbow. I tried as hard as I could to keep each of them the same width and equally rounded, but I am nowhere near perfect at this, so I just did my best. Next, I grabbed my test tube and started wrapping each of my different colors of clay around it, keeping it tight to the tube. You can of course use any colors that you'd like and arrange them however you want to. Once I'd added all of my clay, I cut across the ends to make them even. I also cut a small portion off of the bottom piece so that it would be able to sit flat. Next, I baked it according to the package instructions, and now I'm ready to add my test tube. It needed a little bit of glue to stay in place, so I added a small amount at the bottom to make sure that it would be stable. The last step was to add these wood knobs that are rounded on top and flat at the bottom, and they'll act as the base for this little plant propagator. So I glued them right to the bottom on each side, and now I can add a plant cutting and wait for it to grow roots. I love this DIY, it's so colorful and it really makes me smile. For the next DIY, I picked up a few of these round wood craft circles. They're pretty thin on their own, so I decided to stack two together to make a thicker, more sturdy base. To do this, I just added some hot glue to one of them, going all around the edge as well as in the middle. Then I placed one on top of the other and pressed down until the glue had dried. Now it's the perfect thickness to be able to hold a planter. To paint this, I mixed together a couple of different colors of acrylic paint, one light pink and one more of a terracotta color. Then I went ahead and painted the wood circles. I made sure to cover all of the outer edges as well, since those will be visible when this project is complete. You'll need to paint both sides of the circles for this project, so once the first side has dried, flip it over and paint the other side. I also noticed that after the first coat, the wood underneath was still slightly visible, so I just followed up with one more coat of paint. Next, I'm using part of a storage box from IKEA, and if you watched my recent thrift flip video, you'll recognize this. I traced an extra wood circle onto the box using a pencil, being sure to make the lines dark enough to see once the circle is removed. Then I just used my scissors to cut out the circle. Take your time with this to make sure that you're following the line that you traced carefully. Now I've got a perfect circle to add to my wood base. So I added some hot glue at different points and then glued it right to the top of the painted base. I also went around the outside edges and added more glue, pressing it down to make sure that no parts were popping up. To hang this, I'm going to create a simple macrame hanger. I taped this hook to my work table, but you can also just tape your macrame cord down directly. Next, I cut my 3mm macrame cord into 6 pieces, each 11 feet long. For the first piece, I measured it out using my measuring tape, but for the following 5 pieces, I just used the first piece as a guide, and this makes the process go a lot more quickly. Then I took this small wood ring and slid it onto the ends of the cord. I pulled the cord through the ring so that the ring sat at the halfway point. Then I hung the ring on the hook that I had taped down and straightened out the cords. I cut another piece of cord about 16 inches long, and I created a loop by crossing it over itself. Then I placed the loop on top of my longer cords. I grabbed the longer end and started to wrap it around all of the main cords. I wrapped it as tightly as possible, about 5 or 6 times at least. To finish this wrap knot, I took the wrapping cord and pushed it down through the loop, then pulled the top piece up. This will hide the knot at the bottom and then you can trim the ends. Next, I separated the cords into 3 sections of 4 cords each. Starting with the middle section, I taped down the 2 middle cords. We're going to create a series of half knots, and to do this, all you have to do is take the right side cord, cross it under the 2 middle cords, and then over the left side cord. This takes more time when the cord is long, but it gets easier and faster as you continue. Now take the left side cord and cross it over the 2 middle cords and down through the loop on the right. Then pull both ends tight and now you've created a half knot. Repeat this step 4 more times for a series of 5 half knots. On the 6th knot, you're going to leave a tiny space between it and the previous knot. So just don't pull quite as tight on the 6th knot, and you'll see it leaves a small gap. Now continue with 4 more knots, pulling them tight just like before. So basically I did a group of 5 half knots, then left a small space, then 5 more knots, a small space, and so on. And I did this about 7 times. Once I'd reached the 7th round, I moved on to the next section of cords. You're going to repeat the same exact process as before, creating groupings of half knots. To finish this off, I cut another shorter cord and made another wrap knot by creating a loop and wrapping the cord around the bottom. This will secure the cords at the bottom so that they won't come loose. Now all you have to do is add the wood base and your favorite little plant, and it's ready to hang up and enjoy. As always, let me know in the comments which one of these projects was your favorite, and if you do try any of them out, tag me on Instagram or DM me a photo because I love to see them and share them. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos, and I'll see you soon.